Kevin, can you just kind of give us an idea of who you are, your role at Paragolf
Yeah,
Ontario,
I
and then we'll get into like kind of everything that you guys do there, if you don't mind.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I'm Kevin Potter. I'm the vice president of Paragolf Ontario. I've been affiliated for about 4 years now with Paragolf. It's grown substantially. We've tried to take it to the next level. We want to have a really good working relationship with both Golf Ontario and Golf Canada, and we're a nonprofit, so we try to encourage as many golfers to get into golf again after they have a stroke or whatever disability they didn't know that golf was an opportunity for them to come out, and we try to compensate as much as we can to get them involved in the sport.
Now, how? So you said you've been involved 15 years?
No, about 4 years.
4 years. Okay,
Four
sorry,
years. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So, now, how did you like get involved? Like, like is it something that's like close within your family or something?
Yeah. So my oldest son played on all the tours, the GAO growing up, and my
Okay.
youngest son is 2 years younger than him. He has cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Well, he wanted to get into golf, and it was like we didn't know what was out there. I could sign him up for the GAO tournaments, but he would get his butt kicked and like not very good for morale.
Right.
So
Right.
that's when we started to look on the other side for what was out there for para side of stuff, and that's when we found Paragolf Ontario, and it was it was the original Amputee Ontario association, and then it became Paragolf, and now we're coming to it's going to be full all adaptive golf. So
Do you
we'll have everything from mental to every classification out there.
love that, Kevin? Do you have any idea like how many golfers you have in Ontario?
Right now we have 167 members. We are probably the biggest organization in the world to have world ranked golfers on the European Disabled Golfers Association.
Okay.
So they're the originating organization that world ranks golfers. Um, so you have to get classified, and then you get an EGGA number, and then every time that you go in a sanctioned event, you get world ranking points. And I
Okay.
think right now we've got, I think 15 in the top 50 in the world.
I know we've been lucky enough to have a chat with Jesse Florkowski. Do you know that
Yeah,
name?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
Jesse's been on the pod. I think he might have been ranked number one at one point. So
Yeah, at one point he was, yeah,
yeah, and just kind of like I remember Bryce and I kind of chatting with him and just being like blown away. He's like, "Oh, I
yeah, oh
shot
yeah,
67.
yeah,
I like he's the one armed world long drive
yeah,
record
yeah,
holder, I guess, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
338 yards or something. Don't quote
yeah,
me on that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
something
yeah,
330
yeah. He was
plus. And
crazy off that. Yeah, yeah,
oh man, and I'm thinking like, I wish, like I wish, and like he's
yeah,
just so talented. So it's nice to see that there's a space for adaptive
yeah,
golfers and kind of
yeah,
what you guys are doing. So can you kind of like break down that you mentioned like mental health or
yeah,
amputees? So can you break down like some of the classifications if a player wants to come in who has a disability, who
yeah,
wants to get involved in paragolf
yeah.
and how they would kind of fit with some of the golfers to make sure it's even like you were kind of saying?
Yep, yep. So we have above knee, below knee amputees. Um, above our I guess it's arm. Uh, so then there's short stature. Then there's all the autism, mentalism. Um, so it's all the classifications.
So
And
there's a
then
place for everybody, pretty much. Like
yes,
if somebody
that's
if
exactly what
if
we
somebody
offer
comes to
is
you and they or somebody's parent comes to you, you'll find a
yeah,
place to have
yeah.
an even playing field for them
Yeah, yeah,
with their
yeah.
peers on
So
the golf course. Yeah.
we've got a 17-year-old Russell Aid who's played in all the irregular able-bodied events, and then their parents came to us 2 years ago and found us. He's got three fingers on his one hand, and he competes at the able-bodied, and then he joined us. Well, then he got invited to go over to Portugal for a clinic in the spring this year, so that side of the adaptive side of it's opened up to him too. So now he's got the best of both worlds. He can compete in the able-bodied and on the para side.
That's amazing. Now, your role, like being the vice president, are you
Yeah,
able to, like you mentioned, he's kind of getting invited over? Are you able to like try and help with grants and funding? I know like my work away from the podcast is like a,
yeah.
in a not-for-profit space as well. So it's like, are you able to kind of, do you look after any of that, or do you have somebody that's kind of helping, guide some of the
We're
players?
always open to funding for sure. We get a lot of funding from Delta Bingo.
Okay.
Um, and and now we're trying to get more individual sponsorships through outside companies. So like Russell went up to Thunder Bay for the champions this year. So we were trying to find him funding that would enable us to kind of compensate some of the airfare up there because he was representing Paragolf, but it was an able-bodied event. Um, and we try to do our best. Like last year, we had the grant from the government, so we sent 26 athletes out to Kamloops for the Canadian Championship in the fall. So it was pretty cool. We got them all outfitted, so everybody matched. It was a good outfit. It was a great outing.
That's awesome. So, because that's kind of always something that I've been interested in. That
Yeah,
Bryce is not able to make the pod right now, but that we've kind of been interested in the idea of like being able to. A lot of like our friends play PGA Tour Americas, or
yeah.
maybe have gone on to Corn Ferry Tour, or might be playing like Toronto Players Tour, NCAA, and like it's a lot of money for those golfers
Oh,
too, right? So
yeah, yeah,
that's kind of been always a thought of ours, like how can we help, trying to generate interest in how we can help hook them up with
yeah,
brands and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's always kind of like in the back of my mind. So I kind of like
yeah,
to,
yeah,
how hear how you guys are doing it for your athletes. I know the funding would obviously be, a
yeah,
huge help for them as well, right?
yeah.
So
See,
um
because a lot of people with disabilities too are unable to work, so
right.
they have no income and didn't know that sporting options were out there. So, and until it becomes an Olympic sport, there's a lot more funding once it become a Paralympic sport.
Right.
So we're hoping by 28 we'll get into the Las Vegas or the Los Angeles games. We're hoping.
Okay, so that's something that hasn't golf has not been in the
Yeah,
Paralympics yet.
no, never, never. It
Ooh,
blows my mind.
yeah.
We missed out. We thought we were going to get in for Paris this year,
Okay.
but we got beat out by a couple other sports. So
So is it just the idea that they only take on like a certain amount of sports for each event?
I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I think it's because it's an individual and not a team sport, but I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know what the regulations and the ruling were for why we didn't get accepted versus um, not getting accepted, I guess, right?
Make it a team sport. Get us in there. Like just
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
just get it in there, right? Like
We can do a
it's
Ryder Cup, no problem.
it's like one of the fastest growing sports, in the world
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
If
And
yeah.
in the fall, there's an Irish Open with the EDGA, and it's the first event for para golfers that has a purse.
Okay.
So they've got funding. They got 75,000 pounds over there, and they're going to divide it up between the winners. So it's growing. It's
Amazing.
growing. Yeah, it's
So Kevin, when you say DDJ, is that what you said?
EDGA,
EDJ. So
EDG. Yeah,
what
European
is that?
Disabled Golfers, European Disabled Golfers Association.
Okay, so is that a pretty big tour? Like in the
Yeah,
Paragolf world? Yeah.
they're the basic. They've started everything. They're about 5 or 6 years ahead of us. They got their players to piggyback on the DP World Tour for a few years.
Okay.
So they were playing the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the tournament would start Thursday, Friday for the DP World Tour.
Wow, that's cool.
Our best golfer is Curtis Barkley. He played in, I think, 4 or 5 of them. So he was going across to do that, and that's what I said. It's a big expense out of his pocket too, because that's what I always laugh at. They're wanting to play with the world ranked players, but you're giving the winner of the DP Tour $4 million, and our players are out of pocket for a $50,000 flight. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, it's obviously an experience, but there's
Yeah,
got to be some room there to help
yeah,
the sport grow as a whole, right? And that's kind of
yeah,
something that
yeah,
over the last 4 or 5 years we've been doing the pod. We're obviously discussing that with a lot of the different brands and companies and stuff that we speak to as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I know you're a little tight for time. I know you guys got a big
Yeah.
event tomorrow, so hopefully I'll see you there. Now
Okay.
we're gonna be putting this one out on Friday, so it'll be just kind of after
Okay.
a couple days or right after the
Yeah.
event there. But if anybody's interested in getting involved in Paragolf Ontario, um,
Yeah.
Can you give us an idea before I let you go, like of the schedule? So the schedule, like tournaments that you guys play throughout the year, and then ultimately like how I'm gonna link any of the information in the show notes below, but how
Yeah.
a golfer or prospective golfer could reach out and connect with you guys.
Yep. So anybody that wants to try it is www.paragolfontario.ca. There's a questionnaire. There's anything you want on there. There's feedback. Our tournaments, we try to do 4 to 5 tournaments a year. We try to do one in Niagara, one in London, one in GTA, and then one on the East End. So it kind of incorporates everybody in Ontario. Um, and then we try to compensate as much as we can at the end of the year, mileage, hotels, and then we charge $50 for Paragolf for after you pay for the lifetime membership is 150, and then the Ontario Championship and the Canadian Championship, we try to put a team together, and we usually provide a shirt so everybody matches, and we try to do as long as funding's there, we try to get it back as much as we can.
Love to hear that because it's obviously something that, like we said, like the sport is growing so much, and there's a population of golfers who need to be playing in the
Yeah,
Paragolf circuit, right? So it
yeah,
sounds pretty cool that you've been able to kind of connect with all the all the different parts in Ontario, right? Too. So
yeah, yeah,
if you can't maybe afford to get out to an event, hopefully there's one that's going
yeah,
to be a little bit more local to you
yeah,
anyway, right? And
yeah.
now, are all of those events that you guys host, are they world ranked events?
No, no, we're trying to
Okay.
work. They need to be a 2-day event to be world ranked.
Okay.
So we're working with Golf Canada to see if we can piggyback a couple of their championships next year.
Okay.
That way we could have, because really in Canada, you've only got the Ontario, or well, the provincial championships and then the Canadian championship that are world ranked. So this year at the Weston, the Ontario championship was canceled due to the rain. So everybody lost out on their points for Ontario.
Right.
So now we've got to rely on the Canadian championship in September at Timber Ridge to get points for everybody.
What date is that one in September?
It is the 12th to 15th.
Okay. All right. Maybe I can get out there and see you guys because Timber's not that too
Yeah,
far from where
yeah,
we
yeah,
are. I think you and I are pretty close, Kevin, but Timber's not too far from where we are. I love that track. The greens are
yeah.
slippery there.
Oh, it's a great, yeah, yeah,
That'll be a fun day. It's a great setup, great course, but maybe I can get out, bring some of the gear, chat with some of the athletes or something. I think
yeah,
we'll have
for
a good
sure.
time.
Be amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
Kev, hopefully I see you tomorrow, which will be
Okay.
one day in the past when this one
Yeah,
when
yeah.
this one pops out. But hopefully I see you at the event. Would love to come check it out,
Yeah,
and then yeah, hopefully we can connect for Timber and
yeah,
maybe at the end of the season, would love to do it again. See how things went for the season for you guys. See if
yeah,
see if we can kind of share it on our platform, get some golfers interested. I know we got quite a few. I
yeah,
recognize that name, Curtis Barkley, so we can
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
let's chat again, Kev. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
He's out in my ball in the course, so I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross working.